Someone whom you love is having an affair with. My child. The air around you feels torn, as if someone plucked a thread from the fabric of your heart and let it snap in silence. I stand with you now, not as a distant figure from ancient tales, but as a voice beside your shoulder. You asked for this story, this journey, this unfolding that begins where trust trembles. So listen closely, and breathe slowly, because you are stepping into a chamber where truth walks barefoot. You already feel the weight of the title pressing on your chest. Someone you love, an affair, a fracture in your world. But this is not the moment to crumble. This is the moment to look at the truth with steady eyes. If at any point you feel the sting grow sharper, whisper in the comments something simple like, "I am listening." It keeps your heart tethered to the journey. My child, let me begin at the moment before the discovery. This is where most stories pretend nothing ever shakes. The morning sunlight still looked gentle. Your heart still carried familiar warmth. You believed in the way they looked at you, in the history you shared, in the small rituals that belong only to people who trust each other. It was not a perfect love, but it had the illusion of safety. Yet beneath that surface, a quiet tremor was forming. Not loud. Not obvious. Just a shift, like a door left slightly open that should have been closed. You noticed little things, but you dismissed them. That is what loving hearts often do, they explain away their own pain. A missed call. A vague smile. A change in tone. A late night that stretched too far. Nothing loud, nothing incriminating, only tiny flakes of doubt drifting onto the surface of your mind. My child, do you recall how your chest tightened that day? You didn't have proof yet. Just a feeling. A feeling that tasted like unanswered questions. If these words touch a place inside you, let your fingers type, "I feel it," in the comments, only if your heart agrees. Not because I demand it, but because naming your truth liberates you. And then came the moment. Not dramatic. Not cinematic. Just real. You found something. A message. A whisper of a secret wrapped in digital ink. The kind of message that does not belong to someone loyal. It held a warmth meant for you, yet it was directed elsewhere. You froze. My child, time didn't stop. It stretched. It bent. It pressed itself against your ribs. You felt betrayal not as a strike, but as a flood sliding under the door, rising around your ankles, cold and relentless. Your world didn't shatter. It cracked slowly, like a mirror held too tightly. You wanted to deny it. You wanted to breathe normally. You wanted the universe to whisper, "It's not what you think." But the universe fell silent. In that silence, the truth stood before you with steady eyes. And I saw you. I watched you struggle between anger and sorrow, between wanting to scream and wanting to disappear, between confronting them and pretending you never saw the message in the first place. I saw how your hands trembled, how your heartbeat fluttered like a trapped bird. My child, betrayal does not arrive alone. It brings a crowd, disbelief, confusion, rage, exhaustion, and that strange emptiness that forms when a story collapses. The first instinct most hearts feel is self-blame. You began to ask, was it my fault? Am I not enough? What did I miss? What could I have done better? But hear me clearly, betrayal is not born from your shortcomings. It is born from their choices. You did not create their secrecy. You did not sculpt their lies. You did not write the script of their affair. That script belonged to them, written in shadows behind your back. Still, the guilt crawled toward you, because humans often confuse responsibility with proximity. You feel close to the wound, so you assume you must have caused it. But that is not the truth. My child, lift your head for a moment and breathe with me. There is more you need to hear. When you confront truth, it does not always explode. Sometimes it folds into you quietly. You walked toward the truth with a shaky courage, but courage nonetheless. Even the bravest warriors tremble. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is walking forward despite fear's cold hand on your spine. And so you ask them. The person you trusted. The one whose voice once felt safe. You ask them a question that changed everything. You didn't shout. You didn't accuse. Your words escaped you softly, like a candle burning too low. And their face. My child, you saw it. The flicker of guilt. The hesitation. The tiny pause between truth and confession. The pause that tells you the answer before they speak. When they finally admitted it, your heart didn't break, it surrendered. It surrendered to the weight of truth it already sensed. In that moment, you became someone new. Not by choice, but by necessity. The world shifted. Your breath changed. Your hope thinned. The connection you relied on dissolved like sand slipping through your fingers. But listen to me carefully. This story is not about their betrayal. It is about your awakening. You stood there carrying a heartbreak heavier than what most people understand. Yet inside that ache, something powerful stirred. A quiet strength. The kind that waits for moments like these. Pain unlocks courage you never knew you had. You didn't collapse. You didn't vanish. You didn't lose your voice. You simply stood in the truth, trembling but present. And that is the beginning of transformation. If your heart agrees, type "I am here" in the comments, only if you feel ready to continue. My child, the thing about betrayal is this: it steals your sense of reality. It rewires the memories you trusted. After the confession, you replayed moments in your mind. You reinterpreted smiles, messages, small phrases. You wondered which days were real and which days were performances. The memory of love tangled itself with the memory of lies. That is one of the cruelest parts. You were left holding a bouquet of moments, not knowing which flowers were real and which were made of paper. But even in that confusion, you didn't lose your core. You still loved. You still cared. You still felt human. And that humanity is your strength. As I watched you sit in that storm, I saw the way your soul glowed. Not brightly, but steadily. Like a lantern protecting its flame from the wind. My child, you must hear this. Betrayal is not evidence of your weakness. It is evidence of your capacity to love deeply. You opened your heart. You trusted. You believed in the connection. These are not flaws. These are the qualities of a soul that is alive. But now, you stand at a crossroads. The past behind you is fractured. The future ahead of you is fogged. You are still learning to breathe through the ache. There was a moment later that night when you sat alone. You touched your chest because the pain felt physical. You wondered if hearts actually make sound when they break. The room was too quiet. The walls felt too close. Every memory walked across your mind like visitors leaving footprints. Yet, even in that silence, you survived minute by minute. Minute by minute is still survival. And this is where the true journey begins. Not when you discovered the affair. Not when they confessed. Not when your tears slipped down your face. Your journey begins the moment you realize that your story is not over. This heartbreak is a chapter, not the final line. My child, you will learn from this. You will rise from this. You will rebuild yourself with hands made steady by experience. Your heart may feel bruised, but bruises fade. Your trust may feel fractured, but fractures heal. Your spirit may feel tired, but it is not broken. There is a part of you that still shines, untouched by what happened. Hold on to that part. And as we move into the next part of this journey, prepare yourself. The story will deepen. Your strength will grow. The path ahead will reveal more than betrayal. It will reveal transformation. My child, before I continue, I want you to take a deep breath. You are carrying more pain in your heart than you admit, and I can feel how heavy it has become. Sit with me for a moment. I am Archangel Michael, and I am here not to judge you, not to preach to you, but to walk with you through a truth you have been avoiding for far too long. The truth about the one you love, the one whose absence you feel even when they stand right beside you, the one whose silence has become louder than their words. You already know something is wrong, don't you, my child? Not because someone told you. Not because you saw a message, or a photo, or a hint. You know because your spirit felt it before your eyes ever saw it. The energy shifted. The tone of their voice changed. The warmth in their touch faded. The presence in their eyes dimmed. Every time they pulled away, you felt your soul fall a little deeper into a place of confusion. And yet, you kept saying, maybe I'm overthinking, maybe it's just stress, maybe it's me. Tell me honestly, my child. Have you ever blamed yourself for the distance they created? If you feel brave enough, comment, yes, but only if you want to release that pain today. I know why it hurts. When you love someone, you build a world around them. You start seeing your future through their eyes. You attach your happiness to their presence. You trust their promises more than your own instincts. And when that person slips away, not suddenly, but slowly, quietly, it feels like something inside you starts breaking piece by piece. I want to take you back to the moment you first felt the distance. Do you remember it? Maybe it was the way they laughed at their phone but hid the screen when you got closer. Maybe it was the way they stopped asking about your day. Maybe it was the way they started going out more, caring less, or acting as if you were a responsibility instead of a partner. Or maybe it was the moment you asked a simple question like, "Are you okay?" and they replied with a cold, "I'm fine," even though nothing was fine. My child, these moments were not random. They were the quiet beginnings of a truth you weren't ready to accept. Someone whom you love is giving their heart, their time, their attention, something that belonged to you, to someone else. But before your pain rises again, listen to me carefully. You think this happened because you weren't enough. You think it happened because you failed, or because you weren't beautiful enough, strong enough, loving enough. You think if you had changed yourself more, loved harder, held tighter, maybe they wouldn't have looked elsewhere. My child, no. Their choice was not a reflection of your worth. Their betrayal was not born from your flaws. Their disloyalty is not your burden to carry. Sometimes, people leave emotionally long before they leave physically. Not because you lacked something, but because they were searching for something they never even understood within themselves. Weakness in their heart created shadows in your life. But their shadows are not your responsibility. I see the way you tried to keep the relationship alive. You stayed awake while they slept peacefully next to you, wondering why their love felt so far away. You cried silently in bathrooms, in cars, in dark corners of your own home because you were afraid of seeming clingy or insecure. You waited for texts that never came. You forgave actions that weren't mistakes, they were choices. You sacrificed your peace to protect a relationship that was breaking you. My child, do you realize how much strength you carry inside you? Do you see how loyal your heart is? Do you see how deeply you love, even when you receive half of what you give? Let me ask you this: if you had a friend who gave their all, who loved with everything they had, who stayed faithful even when they were hurting, would you call them weak? Or would you call them someone with a heart worth fighting for? Tell me, my child, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Whisper in the comments, I understand. Because today, I want you to see the truth not as a wound, but as a revelation. Someone whom you love is having an affair. But the story does not end with you broken. The story does not end with you forgotten. The story does not end with you losing your worth. Their betrayal is not the end of your chapter, it's the end of their privilege to be in your story. You are not losing someone who loved you, you are losing someone who pretended. You are not being abandoned by someone loyal, you are being freed from someone who did not deserve your loyalty. You are not watching your world fall apart. You are watching illusions dissolve. But I know, my child, knowing this does not make the pain disappear. It does not make the tears stop. It does not make the memories any less real. Love does not shut off like a switch. Healing does not happen overnight. You still remember the way they looked at you when they meant it. You still remember the promises, the touch, the laughter, the dreams you built together. And losing love, even if it was one-sided, still feels like losing a part of yourself. But listen to me, you are not losing yourself. You are rediscovering yourself. You are finding the version of you who existed before the disappointment. The version of you who believed in love without fear. The version of you who smiled without pretending. The version of you who was whole before someone scarred your heart. This chapter, this betrayal, this heartbreak, it is not here to destroy you. It is here to separate you from the person who was blocking the love, the peace, and the future you deserve. Let me ask you another question, my child: gently, but honestly. If you knew your future held someone who would never betray you, never lie to you, never leave you, would you still fight to keep the one who is hurting you now? If you feel brave, comment, "No more," because today, you are releasing the pain that chained you. My child. You do not need to chase someone whose soul is running away from truth. You do not need to beg for love that should have been freely given. You do not need to compete with someone else for a place you already earned. You do not need to stay loyal to a heart that broke yours. You deserve a love that arrives fully, stays truly, and grows endlessly. And I promise you, the universe is preparing that love for you. But before that love enters, you must release the love that wounded you. You must let go of the hand that loosened its grip long ago. You must stop waiting for someone who is not willing to return to you fully. Listen to me, my child. You are stronger than the pain you feel. You are bigger than the betrayal you faced. You are brighter than the darkness they created. And you are closer than ever to a healing that will rewrite your entire destiny. My child. Before you take another step deeper into this storm, I want you to breathe. Yes, right now. Just breathe with me. Because we are now entering the part of the journey where the truth becomes sharp, and the heart becomes louder than the mind. And when the heart speaks, sometimes it trembles, sometimes it shouts, sometimes it whispers the questions you tried to ignore. If you ever felt your chest tighten while thinking about that person you love, if you ever felt your mind running in circles, then stay with me. And if you relate, just whisper, "Yes," in the comments so I know you're still here, still strong, still holding on to yourself. My child. You asked me how it feels when someone you love is having an affair, but the deeper question is this: what does it do to the soul? It is not just betrayal of the heart, it is betrayal of the rhythm, your rhythm. You were moving in one direction, believing in the same story, dreaming the same dream. And suddenly you feel as if you're walking alone while the world around you continues as if nothing changed. That pain, it does something to people. It makes them question their worth, their memories, and even their identity. But I tell you this with the full authority of light: you are not what someone did to you. You are not the lies. You are not the broken promise. And you are not the silence they left inside you. My child. Sometimes people cheat not because you lacked something, but because they lacked themselves. Weakness seeks escape. Immature hearts seek validation. Confused souls seek distraction. But do you know what strong hearts do? They stay. They communicate. They face the truth. They choose honesty, even when honesty is uncomfortable. And you have a strong heart. That is why you are here, listening to the truth instead of hiding from it. You might wonder, Archangel Michael, why did they do this to me? Why me? Oh, my child, humans often believe betrayal is personal. But many times, it is not. Many times, it is a reflection of the betrayer, not the betrayed. It is their unresolved wounds, their fears, their emptiness. And yes, sometimes it is their greed, their desire to have everything while giving nothing. But what matters more is not why they did it, what matters is what you choose from here. My child. You may feel like confronting them, screaming at them, asking them questions they may never answer. You may feel the urge to check their messages, their social media, their lies. You may feel anger burning inside your chest. And let me tell you something that many do not admit: anger is not your enemy. Anger is a sign that your heart recognizes injustice. Anger is the fire that tells you, I deserved honesty. I deserved loyalty. I deserved better. But anger becomes dangerous when you hold it in your hands for too long. It burns you more than it burns them. So don't let anger lead your decisions. Let clarity lead. Let dignity lead. Let strength lead. My child. If you have cried silently in the night, thinking no one heard, I did. If you held a pillow against your face because you didn't want anyone to know you were breaking, I saw. And if you ever felt like you were not enough, know this: there is no betrayal in this world powerful enough to reduce your worth. You were enough before they entered your life, and you will remain enough after they leave. But I know your heart still asks, should I stay? Should I forgive? Should I walk away? And I say this gently: the answer cannot come from fear. Many stay because they are afraid of being alone. Many leave because they are afraid of being hurt again. Fear is not clarity, my child. You deserve clarity. Ask your heart. Can I trust again? Ask your soul. Is this relationship nurturing or draining? And ask your future self, will I be proud of the decision I make today? When you answer honestly, the truth will rise like sunlight over the darkness. My child, I want you to imagine something for a moment. Close your eyes, if you can. Picture yourself standing in a room with two doors. One door leads to a future where nothing changes. Where you continue carrying the weight alone, trying to fix a story someone else broke. The other door leads to a future you do not know yet, maybe uncertain, maybe scary, but free, free from lies, free from doubt, free from the ache that never fully lets you sleep. Now ask yourself quietly, which door feels lighter? Not safer, not easier, lighter. Light is truth. Light is guidance. My child. If someone chose to betray you, remember this: they did not break your destiny. They only revealed who they truly are. And sometimes, the universe allows betrayal not to hurt you, but to release you. To show you a truth you were refusing to see. To pull you out of a story that no longer aligned with your growth.